I like it. They're not enabling you, James. This is kind of... I like this. You don't have all the powerful ones. Okay, well, pistol between Fnatic and Gambit. You can see his cobblestone. And you can see Crims is dead. But Flush is still lurking around. Actually, a lot of T sides will actually clean out this entire area, and they'll sort of just run all the way around to make sure that there's no player left in A long. And Flush may get backstabbed here. This is perfectly done. And again, this looks very standard as far as the T's movement goes for a cobblestone T-pistol. And obviously, Gambit have left a man towards B as well to keep tabs on that should the CTs push.
Yeah, very unlike NACS, as James would say, getting kills and rushing. The CIS region is actually known for halting things when they get kills, letting rotation set in, prodding out the other side of the map, like Adren is doing right now. 2 spots 1, potentially even 2. I'm not sure if the Kook guy ended up peeking. That is an unfortunate death by Hall.
Unfortunately, that's what I was going to use as well. Not quite what you want to see, but they will still be able to make a good go of this, but still will Fnatic as well. I'm not sure how that sentence works, but Golden and JW will be making their way in. It's really annoying to get into this bomb site, especially when the choke points are locked down by grenades as they are. You can see it's so awkward to get out there, and those EMOs standing around the APC will clean things up, and Gambit will take the pistol. Almost went a bit awry there, but they managed to save it in the end.
Gambit were delayed in starting their matches this season because they had a bunch of dudes in China. Who knows why, but they're out of China now. They've managed to escape. And they've got off to a good start here on Cobblestone. Now, Gambit are a team who have been notoriously terrible at playing matches online in particular, and have failed multiple times to qualify for various leagues and tournaments. But hopefully they can turn things around. Just a reminder, Seized is on the team now. Zeus is long gone, Zeus is in the wind. But, you know, the major got a lot of attention, obviously, for winning the major, but then we found out later on that in terms of the in-game leading and so on, Adren was very heavily involved as well. So we'll see how things continue to play out for Gambit. Hopefully we'll see more of them this year than we did post-major.
Yeah, definitely lots to talk about when it comes to Gambits. And it's always really fun as well to see some of these just pure sort of CIS teams, because they have a different way of thinking about the game, just as Sean was just alluding to. And so it's always good paying attention to see what they've been working on. And Fnatic actually getting some damage done with the pistols. Shouldn't sound surprised. Oh dear, this is not going so well. Crib's still alive with the CZ as well. Will finally be finished off by Dozier, but JW's done some significant damage here. 2 kills out of that Deagle, and Gambit should be fine now though. Is JW actually going to be going for this? Is there a gun on plateau for him to pick up?
Playing the long con.
Yeah, man, until they plant the bomb, of course, he's got nothing to lose, very little to lose. Although, yeah, the gamble is very worth it. But look, already Gambit are aware of what could be possible, and Dozier is waiting for the flank. And it seems Seized will be the initial engager. So I do wonder if JW accidentally gave a cue away, a sound cue, because they were both focused on it. They seemed to know he was there, so perhaps he was running too deep. 2-0 for Gambit. Clean, well, not clean, but I was going to say clean 2000 on the Fnatic players, but it isn't. I am lying. I've defrauded my audience.
Like you said, you know, something gave it away. For some reason, I just got reminded of that moment. Who was it? It was like a coach was standing behind a team. It's from one of the CIS teams. He was like standing behind a team, just like calling us like what they were doing to his team. Does that ring a bell to either of you?
Oh, when Starks was behind Cloud9 when I was on it?
Yeah.
Look to my left. Oh, hey, what's up, dude? That was actually, I think, the Face It finals one year. It was in Valencia.
Oh, really? I was in Valencia. Oh, my God, that's so funny.
Oh, the infamous run. Yeah. The Cloud9 run. The tank tops.
Yeah. It started with that match.
That is hilarious.
Good times.
So Gambit looking to finish on the A site, and looks pretty simple for them to do so. So just, I mean, as it often can be in Counter-Strike, pretty simple start off with the victory of the pistol. And Fnatic will get the full... Well, it's not really going to be a full buy next round. They won't have money for an AWP. They won't have full utility. Sean, how do you feel about this? Like, you're playing the CT side, you know, you go for that force buy. It can be kind of winnable on this map sometimes, but you are left... this is the trade-off, right? You go into that first buy with no or not enough grenades.
Yeah, it's brutal on a lot of maps. I think Cobble's one of the worst ones actually, because plateau control is so important, and without nades, it becomes very difficult, especially without an AWP on either site. You can't really stack 4-1, so they're in a rough spot right now in this round, in my opinion, and this is like a must-win round for Fnatic. Otherwise, this half is going to spiral out of control.
One thing as well, which is interesting that you may be able to comment on, is the fact that Fnatic do seem to do very, surprisingly well and consistently well in positions like this, where they're sort of just, nothing's ideal, if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they don't quite have as many weapons, because it's almost as though it encourages them to take more risks, which you kind of should be doing.
Yeah, I've actually noticed that as well. Wait, why does it say Doja? This feels like a CT, no? Is this actually?
Oh, it's a gremlin.
I was going to
There
say,
we
I was
go.
really confused.
It's like, surely. What is happening right now? I'm actually. Was that Doja?
Oh my god.
Well.
So confused, the chameleon.
How has JW got
How?
there?
How
It
does
is
this
JW
happen?
after all. He's got a bomb as well, dropping a gun for his teammate, and he's not going to defend the bomb. Again, his presence is a threat in itself. Lekro has an idea as to what's going on. May have heard a jump. He will win the duel of the Tracers. And that's 3 unanswered kills from Fnatic. So Gambit on the buy rounds appear to be capitulating.
this is kind of what we're talking about. They just, I don't know, JW walks up behind the bomber who's alone, gets a kill. Just all kinds of weird business going on at A-Log.
Oh.
What's this? Oh, that was... I'm not sure that was actually on it. It looked like a hair shy of a connection there. But Fnatic somehow managed to not lose a single player out of all of this, which is really interesting. Because you feel like a lot of the plays they made themselves quite tradable from Gambit's perspective, but some Fnatic magic for you.
Yeah, Gambit went with like a heavy AD fault that just like completely fell flat. They could have definitely gone with plat control since Fnatic had literally no econ to hold plat, no AWP. They obviously could have known that. Maybe they would have thought Fnatic would have saved a little bit more money. But if they would have fought for plat control that round, I think the round ends entirely different. Just
Actually,
what
I
they
have another hypothetical for you, which I'll have to remember because obviously you've got this full buy round playing out. And Gambit, they still have the money to, of course, perhaps remedy some of the previous mistakes. Obviously, this round, Fnatic have more utility, and we can see it being used there for plateau control. Joe will be playing in front of it, just making sure that no one crosses without them knowing about it. And we're seeing somewhat similar round from Gambit, having presence towards A. Only 3 players though this time, and they're taking it a bit easier than the last rounds.
Yeah, and something to note about those nades that Fnatic were throwing on plat right there is those nades weren't just random, chucked off the box. They throw those at the last second possible, so that way they get a T running into that corner, the right corner on JW screen. That would literally do probably like 80 HP to that guy running that corner.
Ooh.
Oh, even got the headshot on Mo.
Yeah, I think was definitely felt by Mo, and Fnatic are in a pretty interesting spot with JW in such a far forward position. Unable to get the kill though, Dren able to find JW. Looked like he expected that could have been a possibility, and obviously JW's already caught them with one flank, so...
That's cool because he will eventually condition them to be very afraid of everything as this half progresses and be slow. Yeah, but when it's Fnatic, you have to be afraid of everything. And that will slow Gambit down and maybe ruin their own game plans in terms of timing. But Lekro could be in trouble here because the Dren's pretty close. Clutch King of 100 ping, not good enough this time. Lekro dancing around the box, but he's the bait now. No time for him to reload. Wants to make sure he's safe for the trading situation. It's Golden's delivering kill after kill. But now it's Golden alone versus a Hobbit with 16 HP. Doesn't have the bomb. Trying to pre-fire, but he's at the back of the tree. Time has run out again. That's 2 rounds in a row, won by timeout for Fnatic.
I think Fnatic is like the first team in the world that I saw really innovate that style of CT side aggression on both sides of the map at the same time. So you can see JW pushed aggressively on B, but he had someone behind him that smoked off. and then had a guy behind him, and then Crims aggresses at the A bomb site almost simultaneously. But even if Crims were to die there, the length needed to, like the amount of time you need to run to the A bomb site is way too far, so that way they could rotate into the A bomb site and beat the T's there. So they've like really innovated that style, and you can see that in a lot of pro teams now actually at this point. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that about Fnatic. They're definitely getting more confident with this style as well in the last couple of months. It feels like they've really hit a groove, which is very fun. They have very limited utility left with 1 minute and 20 seconds to go in the round, so Gambit I think with a solid opportunity here, but Crim's defending danger pretty effectively. Second kill coming fairly easily with the M4, still half health left, time for a reload as well with Flusher now on the defense. Able to play the bait setup. This is working really well for Fnatic at the moment. Crim's almost getting a chance at a second, and Flusher denied somehow. Mo on the angle. Minute left and it's the 3v3. No grenades really for either side, or very limited at least.
Golden, the only person on the A site at the moment. A 1-1-1 set up from Fnatic. JW will hold the cross, which means Golden doesn't necessarily have to peek. If JW gets a kill, then wouldn't be surprised if it turned into an avalanche of kills for Fnatic in what remains of Gambit. Smoke towards the door. And that will compromise the setup of Fnatic, moving towards the balcony now, being funneled into this direction. Gambit with 15 seconds. This is surely going to spell disaster.
Definitely not leaving anything to chance here, as JW is just going to be sitting there with the AWP. The first connection's good. Golden is going to seal the deal. No time to plant the bomb now. Adren, nothing he can do. But just try to save him once again. Another round one.
That's 3 rounds in a row.
Yep.
I don't know when I've seen that.
And there was really nothing stopping them in this particular round. You know, they just kind of halted things for 30 seconds after getting those 2 kills in mid halls. I understand they want the CTs to reset, maybe think they could go back to the B bomb site. But I think in that scenario, they needed to act quicker.
Okay, so Gambit now just... Their loss bonus has been building and building and building. They decided to go for a force up here. And 1 AK on Adren, a pop flash there. Fast round from them, straight into the A bomb site perhaps. And Fnatic will hear everything, and they are already rotating. So if Flusher can get a kill or just hold them off for another, well, that smoke should hold them off for long enough. The rotation's in. Fnatic have a massive advantage here.
I think this is a half buy rather than a force buy. I think they've got about...
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay, 4 floss in a row. Okay, yes.
Yeah, because it's probably the AK that was saved. Made it a bit confusing, but let's see what they can do. They've got Dozier with the flashbang, which has just been deployed. So they've made some inroads here. The pre-fire from Flusher won't be good enough, however, but Necro's got the range, or has he? Apparently not. The P250 will prevail on this occasion. So there is some damage being done here by Gambit, and again, they can buy in the next round regardless. So this is a great bonus for them. That's the bomb lost. A bomb plant would be amazing, but very unlikely that Warrior Techs are working on the HUD hiccups.
I think they needed a plant, to be honest, for a buy, no?
We're about to find out.
Yeah, their money isn't very good.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward. It's a weird spot. But I suppose if they are switching up the pace and it's just beginning to play faster, then I guess that's okay. And this was actually something I was going to ask you, Sean. You know, if you're on the T side and you know the CT side, they force bought because they lost the pistol round, and then they don't have utility for their first fire round. Do you play a fast round as a T side and capitalize on the lack of counter grenades early, or do you play a slow round and really just exhaust all the grenades and then make a hit?
I think there's no right or wrong answer there. I think playing slow rounds is definitely super strong, but what typically happens when you play those low buys like that is they'll get aggressive and they might pick off someone in an extremity. You know, you can't watch every angle on every map. It's just like on Cash, for example, there's 5 different places CTs can push.
Well, this exchange has once again not gone in favor of Gambit. I mean, apart from the pistol round, if you ignore the pistol, it's basically 4-0 looking at 5-0 at this point. Unanswered rounds, unanswered kills from Fnatic in the direction of Gambit.
Yeah, and it doesn't really feel like the rounds are that close. even that round that Hobbit saved the op and the one-on-one, like Fnatic was pretty in control of that round, in my opinion. So maybe it's time for Gambit to change their pace, do some B execs or fast B hits, fast drop hits. Because right now they're just doing like these standard 3-2 A defaults, and it is not working.
And speaking of which as well, about like from a methodology perspective, do you generally prefer like plays where your team gets to take the initiative and you keep some of the variables like, or you remove some of the variables, you remove some of the possibility for the other team to make plays? Like for example, that's the main difference between the two approaches you were saying. Like one is we just take initiative, and the other is a bit more reactive. We wait to see what plays our opponent throws at us.
Yeah, are you talking about CT side or T side?
Yeah, just like the methodology from picking rounds as the T side.
Oh, okay,
Against
so
the CTs, yeah.
Yeah, I like to generally dictate the pace a lot as T side, honestly, and force rotations based on like utility usage. So that way you can get a pretty good idea of like how you're gonna get a 1-on-3 somewhere or 1-on-2 somewhere. Basically a favorable engagement, as opposed to just like entering a default and knowing, hey, we're gonna send 3 people to the A bomb site, 2 to the B bomb site. We're just gonna run a default onto the A side, you know, 3-on-2 by A halls that they see coming. I'd rather push and pull rotations based on utility.
And that's interesting because so far we've seen Gambit actually allowing all that space to Fnatic, and it's working out really well for Fnatic.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here comes a charge from Gambit, trying to make the best use they can with these pistols. Stuck in a choke point though, and that's never going to be a good situation for them. Never want to get stuck in the choke point, because that is where the horrible stuff happens. It's an early Halloween for Gambit so far. Quite the horror story.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I thought you said horror story. It's like, that's it. Just how.
Yeah, got to explain it for the simpletons. Wow, look at that. Gambit have a reasonable buy.
Fnatic just seems really happily, smoothly just grinding things out from a pretty poor situation initially. They'll be going for some information there towards the plateau. This is pretty big stuff here. You can't see anybody boosted over the smoke, and you can't see anyone peeking from the other side. So JW may be able to call that to his teammates, and that could be some useful information as to understanding what Gambit's approach is in this round. And we can see the Gambit going with that heavy A presence once again. Those here trying to wrap around onto Crims. Crims wins the 1v1. Very important. Flusher holding things down as well. They are just doing a fabulous job here on the A side of the map. That's the round gone. The default has been crushed by 2 players.
Flusher seemed to have a counter flash there. We didn't see him throw the flash, but you could see from the line it kind of bounced off 2 walls and it landed right in front of the arch. So he got himself a blinded player for the first kill. He makes it look so easy though, Flusher, honestly.
It seemed like Fnatic knew exactly. Maybe they didn't know how many players it would be, but they knew that they were going to be wrapped there, and they were very prepared.
Well, Adrenaline has 30 seconds to try and avoid this 2 versus 1, which is developing. 1 versus 2, should I say. And he's managed to make it to connect, but surely he's been heard by Golden. I think he was close enough, and indeed he was. Lecro rotating towards the plateau. And Adrenaline might hear him as well. He's got to get this bomb down quickly. They won't try to stop the plant, but he's got to move forward, Adrenaline. The QQ doesn't get his AK back out fast enough, and that's round number 7 in a row for Fnatic.
It really seems like Gambit are not, from an individual standpoint, like activated right now. It seems like they're running strats which are just being battered by just the brute strength of Fnatic.
I feel like we're seeing the same A defaults time and time again, and Fnatic has shown that they can kind of shut down this. They've at least traded every single time in A halls and mid. They're coming out on top on those engagements every time. So Gambit, like I said before, Gambit needs to change the pace a little bit here. They need to switch the bomb site up. They need to go to the B bomb site maybe a little bit. Maybe do B defaults and then go back to A later in the round once you think you forced to rotate to B. But yeah, something Fnatic's always been really good at actually is analyzing what T's like to do and learning how to counter that. And that's something that not a lot of teams think about, like, what do teams like to do on Cobble? Well, they like running A defaults where they split through mid and halls, and then they like pinching that A halls area. How do we stop that? Like, people just kind of run into the same sauce, like, I'll watch A halls, I'll watch mid. Well, Fnatic actually like actively figures out what is going to counter the meta right now. And they do a really good job of doing that, and that's why their CT sides have always been very, very strong.
Initial grenades from Gambit, looking for their first buy-round win. The taste of loss is quite bitter for them at the moment. They have a 4-man investment towards the A site. Crims was a special flashbang.
Ooh, I like this.
And they emerge, but they're very close to each other, and big damage will be done to both sides. One kill for Fnatic, for Gambit, sorry, but that could quickly turn around.
All of them rotated.
Look at all the flashbangs over the wall. They make their way into the balcony, but have they gone fast enough? 3 versus 4, make it 2 for Fnatic as they're getting cut to pieces by Gambit.
Just Lekro left, and SOT team somehow find a way to do this. Just battling out of these choke points in of itself is so difficult to do. And you don't really have a good cover spot, really, if you make it out, like you win a fight out of one of these choke points. It's hard to get some good spots to play with. And you can see that Lekro will go down low, covering the balcony. And Gambits, they will win their first buy round, but that one could have gone either way.
Yeah, I just don't think they're explosive enough. Like, when they got that kill in mid, how is it possible that every single player on Fnatic is at the A bomb site by balcony before they are? That point, like, how is that even possible? You just have to explode up middle immediately when you get that kill. Smoke connector, flash towards heaven, and just go. And you just have to trade the kills. It's a 1-on-4 by the A-Halls guy.
They cover that ground. Crims with the AWP. So looking for the shot. Ooh. Unfortunate there. Quite brave to go for it too. So many teams have really nailed the angles for how you actually spam the door to catch the AWP players. And Flusher, he's out for the kill. They know that there's a tagged player up there. This is so bloodthirsty. Out comes the AWP. Gonna save that one. And JW managed to get a catch here towards the B side of things. It feels very difficult for Gambit to just really do anything against Fnatic, even when they're getting kills.
Oh my god.
Nice. 1 minute on the clock. Lekro, does he spot Hobbit? Tries to make it awkward, but he can't get his gun out in time, and he will draw the attention of the Fnatic players. Quick trade, although JW picked off towards the plateau, and a Dren has been activated, moving out now, and it's down to Flusher, 1 versus 3. Second player's in red. Can he get the 1 versus 1 versus Dozier? Does he hear him? He knows where he is now, at least. That Molotov going everywhere, apart from where it needs to, and I can't imagine he's giving this up. I think he is opting for some kind of rotation.
Yeah, there is an AWP behind him as well. If he doesn't get anything, or if he has time issues, can always go back for the AWP. But he is indeed pressing forwards. It's going to be very difficult to make this happen. So the Kings gets the first catch there. Seeds was very weak though, and Dozier is full HP. Well made to try to bait out Dozier, and he will emerge. And that'll be the round for Gambit. So they'll be able to put 2 rounds together, and the money for Fnatic's actually gone.
Yeah, and again, they ditched the default. And honestly, it didn't look pretty. It didn't look pretty at all. But you can tell they're having a lot more success with this free-flowing style, where they're just basically kind of just going around the map and scrimming a little bit. They scrimmed through the mid, smoked around prior. And this round, they're just... C's got the kill top mid, then, one guy ends up walking out flat, one guy goes drop. They're just kind of playing a little bit looser.
Very deep smoke grenades. Again, pain in the bum for Gambit. Pain in the arse. Fnatic with pistols now, trying to close the distance. Dancing around that smoke, and most got 15 HP. There is trouble here for Gambit, although Fnatic have given up the fight. Moving out of plateau before the smoke disappears. But that will make things awkward for Gambit moving forwards. They still have 2 Molotovs, Gambit, and a bunch of flashbangs. They'll start to show presence now towards A.
I love how JW was able to just sort of get some pokes and prods onto Mo.
I think it's because of that deep smoke combined with those double nades that I talked about earlier in the half. It basically scares the T's from aggressing up, right? Like, they have to stay behind that smoke and respect the fact that those nades could be coming. And it allows him later in the half to do something like that.
Definitely quite fun to see. Fnatic really good at creating those little opportunities for themselves, and they managed to get 1 kill so far, but it looks like they will probably be denied anything else. Crimson JW, not too much they can really do. I think their positions are somewhat known as well, so Gambit, if they want to, they can avoid them entirely. And there's not too much to gain from killing them. Grim's going to go for this, perhaps, see if he can get some additional damage. The spot Dozier gets a good engagement, but can't finish it off. Same for JW. So another round for Gambit. So they've actually put 3 rounds together now, and well, thank God for them. I mean, the first 6-7 rounds looks awful from Gambit, despite obviously the win of the pistol round. But their buys were just, those defaults look so stale.
Yeah, and look at it now. Now they're in a good position to actually win this half. It's crazy.
Although Fnatic are in that territory now where they have not the ideal buy, so I almost expect them to do better, to be honest.
True.
So we'll see how it goes. And again, we get that 4-man A default coming in from Gambit.
Fnatic have put somebody behind a tree on B in the meantime, and this time Flusher won't have the success he had previously. That is the A-long player lost very early for Fnatic, which leaves Crimson in an awkward position as he is down the ramp. Got to be careful, might not risk going up in case they're going for a fast split, and the player spotted now towards A-long. Crims trying to avoid a flashbang, but there was no flash. 2 unanswered kills now for Gambit.
Yeah, looking pretty good here for Gambit. They are making their way slowly forwards, just eliminating player by player. Perhaps not as explosive as you might like, but it's doing the job so far. And JW is the only one standing now as he is on the big flank from B. Pretty decent route from Gambit. I did wonder, you know, how they would manage the situation where they take down Flusher, but they're thinking to themselves, okay, where is Crims? Because he's not in long or danger, so what is he doing? But so they managed to keep themselves safe from Crims.
Which seems difficult these days.
Yeah,
he's been insane.
That's true.
He's been really good lately.
That is very true, yeah. It's been so, for me, it's been really refreshing to see, because I always loved watching him play back in Fnatic's most dominant era. He was always quite special to watch. And it's always really satisfying too to see players who at one point were very, very good have like a, not necessarily like a massive slump, but maybe they're just
like a lull, yeah,
and they come back again stronger.
He has been dominating lately.
Right then, 7-7. Mag 7 is out for Golden. Some shortcomings in the buy from Fnatic. But it is the last round of the first half after all. Again, that nuisance smoke grenade at the end of Plateau will slow things down for Gambit. Nobody pushing behind it just yet for Fnatic. Maybe they won't on this occasion. No early fight. Nobody lost early for either side, which makes a change. Now JW starts to perhaps play on a read of where people are or aren't. Catches one player off guard. He has cover from Lekro, but they need to deliver that kill.
Yeah, and I think you have to be, Gambit have to be expecting these kinds of plays. They've already seen it from Fnatic in the rounds such as this. They will eventually deal with JW. Looked like it could have gone quite badly for them, but they have stabilized. And now they can begin to move forwards. And you can see it's quite methodical from Gambit. They'll throw the Molotovs in the right spots as they make their progress. But Lekro could be undiscovered. But with the Famous, how much can he do? They line up. The spray comes in. It's good for 2. Might be a chance here if Flusher can connect with Eagle. Some bullets landed, but he's lost his teammate in his trouble, and that's going to be the round for Gambit. They managed to actually do a really good job here, 5 in a row.
Dang, look at Fnatic's scores right now. Or their frags are just so compact. 9 and 10 across the board. Actually, both teams are really close.
Pistol rounds. Let's see who can take an early lead. Pistol round didn't bode so well for Gambit in the first half. maybe they can do better this time if they will prove successful once again. Golden with a smoke and a flash. Everybody else on the server with Kevlar. Those looking for those long-range peaks. Spots 4 players on the radar. That will mean a 2-man rotation for Gambit to put 4 people on A. Very early indeed. Mo needs to deliver a kill here. There's one. Looking for the one-taps, but nothing doing.
W will turn the corner and meets his fate at the hands seized. Like trying to burst into this A site. It's been quite troublesome here. Golden, I don't know if he's spotted the player by Wood. No, he has not. Dozier will eventually go down to the flick of Flusher as they're still trying to make their way in, but Gambit are not making this easy, and the flank is coming. Hobbits is soon to make his way to the bomb sites from A long, and he's now the last man standing, so Fnatic may be suspicious of this, and indeed they'll spot him and dink him immediately. You hate to be that guy that gets dinked straight away from a Glock long range. It's like you can't feel more useless than that.
Wow, the way Crims closed out that round, oh my god, he destroyed those players. The second kill. Noise.
Nice.
James, give me a noise.
Nice. Pair of 8s. And a lot of CZs for Gambit. Mo with the scout. I love the scout, but I feel like Cobblestone might be the most difficult map for which to use one. That said, he gets the tag straight away. Maybe they can capitalize on that later on. JW, he will be the harassment man towards the plateau. He's got Crims in tow with the AK-47. Meanwhile, Fnatic are outside the underpass, swapping their weapons around. Golden tagged early, he'll take the UMP. So if he gets dropped, he drops the weakest weapon that they have available.
I like this too from Fnatic, the way that they just show presence everywhere. Like we see them, you know, they just show some presence at B plateau. They're trying to get some peaks towards middle. And it's kind of that pushing everywhere type of deal, which just makes it really hard to figure out what's going on as the CTs. Like, how do you position, how do you rotate when you have to worry about everything? Fnatic will make some presence here towards A long. Adren, though, with an opportunity here for a kill. Just try to make it happen, but his peek is not going to work out. So, Fnatic will grab the bomb. Are they going to go double back to B here? The bomb is by Dragon Lord Tapestry, and indeed they're going for the double back straight towards B. Oh, Fnatic.
This might be painful. They've got time pressure. Although people have rotated out of B and Hobbit's moving back in again. Spots one player, needs a headshot. Can he find any more? 15 seconds now. The CZ will be definitely more dangerous. There goes the bomb. Trying to buy time for his teammates' rotation. This is coming pretty slow. Now CZ's alone. And that bomb might just get planted. 9-8 for Fnatic. That looks quite ropey, but they managed to take it over the line in the end.
You just felt if Hobbit swung and killed that guy on the left. Ooh. That's when it starts to get hairy.
Yeah. So eco round for Gambit. Should be a formality. Fnatic looking good for double figures here. JW may make some money as well. You see Flusher's going USP only. And again, I'm a fan of this. When you know the other team only has stock pistols.
To be fair, I think no matter what you have there, you can say so.
Yeah?
Yeah,
But I think
so
it was almost his job to die just to get the information.
Yeah. I'm missing the days when JW would buy the Sornovs in rounds like this.
Me too.
So just, I mean, even in the buy rounds versus buy rounds, just run in, drop zone. You know he's doing it every round. It's going to kill you.
I want someone to just really embrace the out-of-meta guns. And I think NBK is doing that. I literally feel like the devs have made it so that way all these out-of-meta guns are viable. It's just pros are stubborn.
Yeah, yeah.
I want someone to just embrace them all. Just get the kill rewards.
I love the Krieg, but
The Krieg is awesome.
the AUG is all over the place.
The Krieg is definitely legit. Down with the Krieg.
As a sniper player, it's nice to just scope and just one-tap somebody with it.
Doesn't it feel really good when you
It's-
get that scope to one tap?
It's hilarious because I rarely noticed that I actually killed the guy immediately as well. It's kind of weird. Anyway, 10-8, Gambit on the buy now. And this is most of their grenades out. They have 2 smokes, 1 molly, and 2 flashes for the remainder of this round. C's on the UMP. Life is not great for Gambit right now.
It's not ideal, and I mean they're gonna have to, you know, show some Fnatic shenanigans.
There we go.
if they are to actually win this round. And so, well, that's a good start. But also the response here from the Swedes. Bomb is still down, and they still have work to do towards the A positions, but they still have loads of time as well. See Flusher with a forward smoke.
Ooh, a little lurk smoke.
Let's see how Gambit react to this. They're still 3 towards the A position, so he's making a lot of noise. He does have Electro nearby as well, so he's causing so much distraction. Oh no,
Oh my god.
What? Oh, come on, come on. A Mac-10, man, it's just way too good. And
Is it?
It's just way too good.
Did you
not
just
sure
like
that
a
it
one-on-one duel with an M4 across the map and win?
I'm not sure that the Mac-10's that good, to be honest. I don't know
mean-
what's going on. Gambit needs to wake up.
Flush has been watching those Vega demos. He knows how good the Mac-10 is.
That was sick.
It was Vega right on the overpass at the major.
Yeah, I think they had
It's like
5
this,
Mac-10s.
Yeah, like 5 Mac-10s, and they were just like sniping people like it was an AK.
Yeah.
It's like,
They were in the B bomb site, like sniping people, CT spawn rotating, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's like coming up the, like through the fountain, around towards the bathrooms, just tapping people with it. It's so weird.
I feel like that's one of those scenarios where Adren transferred his straight into the smoke, and then he was like, okay, surely this guy's not gonna go. He came back out of the smoke!
You can't lose a long-range duel to a Mac-10 when you've got an M4. You cannot do that. That is not a done thing. Well, Gambit's in a horrible position now. They've got the pistols, but not much else. And Flusher continues to cause havoc with the Mac-10, spotting just 1 more player in B. But Fnatic aren't poised. They're not positioned to capitalize on this and move in. They've got most of their plays towards the A site, but they'll be content to continue things. And you do wonder if Mo is connected to the server at the moment. Or perhaps a pizza has arrived.
Maybe you watched a Bardoff demo. I've seen Bardoff knife in mid several times. Although it was around that next door. I know your tricks, James. You would never knife me at mid on Cobble.
Why would you say something like that, Sean?
Ever.
Why would you say
Ever.
something?
Not in a million years will you knife me at mid on Cobble. I know your tricks in that specific location.
Even if you know. I am an unstoppable force. Fnatic with good timing, making sure nobody's on the A site. And down goes the plant.
I did like how Fnatic had like this really, really simple anti-eco strat with it. They don't really mess around. So I feel like some teams, you know, spend a bit too much time sort of messing around, waiting to see if the CTs are going to do something. But he just had a Flusher run in with a Mac-10 straight away, get information for his team, and then they just, I mean, he got a couple kills as well, and he obviously he had like his own little setup to pop flash himself in. That's what, I mean, it can be as simple as that sometimes. Simplicity sometimes is really, really good. 12-8, double AWPs from Gambit.
Yeah, this is something that a lot of European teams started doing. Is I saw NA teams, you know, bring out the double AWP right away, but when you watch EU teams, they'll wait till they're down 0-4, and on the 5th round, or I'm sorry, the 6th round, they would eco, they'll bring out the double AWPs, and that's because you have some form of consistency. You know, you start off in one form, and then you can, if you're having troubles, then you can upgrade to the double AWPs instead of starting with it. Then you're like, well, am I downgrading a little bit here?
Yeah, it gives you
You
more
don't really,
options.
don't really know what to expect as well the first gun round, what kind of style you're going to.
This is much more explosive. This is kind of the speed, the pace you want to see out of Gambit's T side when they were attacking into the A side of things. But Mo can still stop this. He can still stem the tide of T players here, but it will only be one for him as now Hobbit rears his head with the AWP, or tries to do so, but it's difficult. Wow, that's clean. Making it doable.
Flusher has other ideas, however. Hobbit switching out for the AK. Needs to be able to take 2 players out in quick succession, and the AWP just won't do. Flusher is now essentially a 3rd man in their setup. And it seems Hobbit will go back to the AK, AWP, sorry. Although Flusher's close enough to hear this, and he should realize that the same is happening. Has he got his knife out? Okay, it was a Molotov. Or was it his knife? I think it was his knife.
Yeah, he was trying to style on him. I like that saying though, third man, James.
Yeah, man. It's the first, yeah.
I think that went over a lot of people's heads because it went over mine for a split second there.
Yeah, I think it's a very big factor in many situations like that where you had presence in one place, you moved to another place, but they don't know that if you're there or not. So you essentially have an additional person on the server because they have to be afraid of that position, and it compromises where they can stand and how they can move and so on and so forth.
Another fast one here from Fnatic just to get platform control, which is really nice. Eliminate some of the variants that could be in store for you if you just don't know what's going on in Plateau. You want to go back there later. Fnatic not a team that's ever really afraid to challenge for stuff, and that's really, really critical. Although they won't really be able to get too much. It sustains some damage here. There's a bit of a poke from a Dread.
Love that. Punish the reloads. Nobody there to cover for him, but Lekka will protect the weapon. And he may have to stay there for a while. The Crims is coming in from the back. So now that weapon seems well and truly protected. 14-8 seems to be incoming. We'll see if Gambit can steal anything away from this round, although perhaps Dozy will just try to hold on to his armor, have some more grenades in the rounds to come.
One thing I did like about the timing there from Fnatic was that, you know, Crims did come in quite a bit later than the plat control, just so that they could make sure that, okay, we're taking so much attention away from drop potentially. If we do get a kill, someone has to potentially rotate out of that position. Crims gets more of a sure thing when he comes into drop and more of a sure backstab. So kind of a nice little detail on the timing, how you split the defense.
So are those pathways in the B-bomb site on the ground, is that where the CTs are supposed to be running? You see how like the grass is gone?
Yeah, the cobbles.
I feel like no one would take that pathway from the site that goes into the door.
I've never even noticed that.
I didn't notice it either till just now. Obviously, though, that's why the grass is gone in those spots.
Because it's the trodden path.
Yes. But that's nonsense. Who goes that way in this game?
Well, you know, if you're walking around to take photos of the fountain.
I guess.
Right.
I wonder what's behind the gate. A lot of
That's
people
not a
are
fountain,
walking
it's a
towards
statue.
that door. Yeah, right there. A lot of people are going there.
Exit through gift shop.
Not much is behind that door.
For the Truman Show, it's the end of the... Just nothing. You thought you could get freedom, but it's a prison.
14-8. Critical time now for Gambit in their first map of ECS season number 5. Mo's on AWP once again. Ooh, the flashbang from JW. Didn't do the job, but the gun will. 4-on-4 very quickly indeed. 1 minute 30, and Gambit are fighting for control of A-Long at the very least.
And again, an amazing spot for Fnatic, a team that we know to be very strong in spots like this. It's a 4v4. There's a lot of potential blind spots around the map now for Gambit to worry about. And trying to play on top of the bench there around the smoke will not work out for Dozy. A Hobbit able to hold things down towards the plateau. That is really critical for Gambit, that they have someone that's able to keep a key position by themselves with the AWP. And Hobbit's providing that. And it looks like they're detecting the rotation too. Gambit are in a great position to win this 3v3. Dren not quite ready for that though. And that is a problem.
2 CTs moving towards the A site. Golden can surely hear one of them at the very least. Maybe hear C's jump off the balcony as well, but he's exposed, he's blind, he's dead. The bomb, though, has not committed. And Lekro's in connector, so it seems Golden was the goose, but the egg was bad. Lekro cutting off seized. He will reposition quietly, leaving Hobbit in a horrible position.
That was some excellent mid-game by Fnatic right there. They're just literally playing Gambit the entire round, and even though it looked like Gambit was in good spots, just Fnatic always had a backup plan. They always had a plan B, C, D, E. Gambit was just rotating around, trying to counter it.
Fnatic to me just like one of these teams that just like such an awesome example of everyone on the team having exactly like the same understanding of how they think about the game, how they want to play the game. And because I would imagine with them, they've played for so long together too, there's lots of spots where they just know what their teammates are going to do, where they're going to stand, how they're going to respawn, and that's just, when you're at that level as a team, you have that cohesion as a team, it's so powerful. It's a great start from Flusher as well, taking off most heads. This is match point, of course, so Gambit, they have 3 grenades left with a minute and a half to go. Good luck.
Minute 20. Wonder if Dozier will get hungry for info towards A. Well, there's his info. Flusher filling the inbox. And now we see C's making his way close to the smoke. Seems to be the right decision. Trent, can he make it work? Close range with the Mag 7. So far, so good. Pop flashes there, but no flash for Golden. Hobbit ill-equipped for this. And that leaves C's alone. Surely the end is nigh. Off angle from JW, AWP no less, and there it is, 16-8 for Fnatic.
Wow, didn't drop a single round on the T side.